Hello everyone and welcome back once again. This is the Starcraft 2 report for May 28th, 2011. Delayed one day, had some technical difficulties, so got those all wrapped up now, and we are here with you guys to give you guys all the results, news, and things that you might want to check out for this week. So first we're just going to jump straight into a couple of changes I made. For the results for the matches coming from GSL, NASL, IPL, all that fun, just changed up the way to notate which games are the better games to watch instead of doing the different colors and stuff. Some people said that's a little hard to see. Just going to be putting 2 stars next to the games that are pretty good games, might want to check them out, and 3 stars next to the games that you definitely want to check out. Also, in this episode, I got a special treat for you guys because I apparently had no ability to type Slayer's S. So we're like, anytime you see Slayer's S, it's just Slays S, Slaws, just a bunch of typos. I don't know what my issue was. I went back and redid them a couple times and still managed to type them all wrong as I zipping through all the results and stuff to get them all listed for you guys. But they're there, so I'll make sure I say it right for you guys so that you know what I'm talking about here. So going first straight into the GSL Super Tournament results, we have first off in one of our first must-watch games, I Am MVP beating out Creator Prime.we. And then moving on to the Typo Land, we have Slayer's S Ganji beating out Butterfly Effect. Check Prime.we losing to OGS Supernova. Then we have Slayer's MMA over Fox Lynch, so check that game out. OGS Inca losing to Slayer's Ryung. MVP Violet over OGS The Win. TSL Rain actually losing to MVP King. And then in a game that I actually thought was pretty close to a must-watch game, but I decided not to list it as that, OGS Joke 2 taking out Any Pro Prime.we. Moving on to the Day 3 results, we had TSL Trickster over Slayer's Yu-Gi-Oh! In a definite game you should check out. The Best Fo You over Zenix Jejun. MVP Genius over Slayer's Boxer. You guys should check that one out. That's a good game. Slayer's Min beat out ST July and was actually kind of a lopsided series. Min handled July pretty well. TSL Clyde with an extra E beating out ST Rainbow. TSL Live losing to Linux Fo You. Xenex Bian over Legal Mind, and in a definite must-watch game, Slayer's Alicia beating out OGS MC in round 1 of the GSL Super Tournament. That is a definite must-watch game. Absolutely amazing games by both players, but Slayer's Alicia taking out OGS MC. No Super Tournament win for OGS MC this year. Moving on to results now for the NASL. We have Straylock losing to DDE, Squirtle over Slush, Moonglade over Heypro, Kawaii Rice losing to Axlov, Naniwa losing to Nada, that's a game you should check out, Ace losing to Select, Cats over Starlife, Rhett over Machine, Goody over Braddock, MC over Hasu, obviously that's a pretty good series, Sen over Tyler, Pain User losing to Drewby, poor Pain User just can't seem to get going in the NASL, Boxer over Sock, Cloud losing to Mana and was a checkout game. Idra losing to Zenyo. Zenyo did some awesome stuff with Infestors you should check out in that game. Maro over Phoenix. Moon over TLO. Artosis and Maro did not play. Artosis was having issues with his internet, couldn't get it up. So Maro just took the 2-0 victory over Artosis. So poor Artosis still just sitting on 2 victories. Rainbow losing to Vibe. Kiwakaki over Grubby. Kiwi does some awesome stuff in that series. Check that one out. Phoenix over Chef. So Phoenix taking the lead in that division with Chef. Moving on to the last 2 days of results for NASL, we have QXC losing to Zhao. Darkfrost over Ensnare, and was actually a pretty decent series to watch. White Raw losing to In Control. Cruncher over Mailman. TT1 losing to July. July doing very well in the NASL. Nada over Slush. Naniwa over Axlab. Squirtle over DDE. Kawaii Rice over Moonglade. And Heypro winning out over Straylock. Moving on to IPL qualifiers, round number 3. Getting in for these qualifiers, we have Drewby, Goody, Nurchio, also listed as Desineer in one of the casts that I have up on my YouTube. Actually took out White Raw in the very first qualifier, so very up-and-coming good player out of the EU. Night End, Range, State, Thorzane, and White Raw himself all getting into the IPL through the qualifiers round number 3. Moving into show news for you guys now. Rejoice all Day 9 fans as Day 9 is back. I even got a picture that I'm going to be putting up over my face in just a moment of Day 9's new setup. Day 9 is back. He has 2 episodes up right now. The first episode, he talks about convergence with TLO and Happy, and then he went over PVT with Hasu Obs. So 2 episodes for you guys to check out this week from the camp of Day 9. And now here's that picture. Ta-da! As you can see, up over my face now is the picture of Day 9's new setup. He's got a new room, he's got a new degree, and he is a full-time shoutcaster now. So that is going on in the world of Day 9. Moving on to State of the Game. Huge announcements in State of the Game, but before I get to talking about that specifically, in State of the Game, we did have like the Protoss hierarchy there. You had Tyler, they had Huck, they had In Control. It was like Protoss Land, they had Naniwa was on there. Lots of Protoss questions and stuff discussed, but really the big thing about State of the Game was the announcement, and in our first clip ever that we're going to go to in just a minute, here's the little teeny tiny part of that announcement.
Thought I would hear these words from your mouth, but tell people what's going on.
Well, it's a little bit with a, well, not a little bit, it's a lot of it, with a heavy heart that I'm saying that next week's State of the Game will be my final State of the Game as a host.
And welcome back, and as you can see by that announcement, JP announcing that In Control will have control of the cast next week, and it will be In Control's last week. In Control is going to be leaving State of the Game. He's going to be exclusively doing Inside the Game that we'll talk about in just a moment. As his show instead of State of the Game. State of the Game also will be going dark for a little while, so no State of the Game episodes for a little while. So all you State of the Game fans will just have to wait just a little bit longer to see your State of the Game fix. So that's basically it for State of the Game. Definitely check out their episode next week. They're supposed to have a whole bunch of things. Them getting drunk and cool stuff for the viewers next week to kind of send them off for a little while. Moving finally into news with Inside the Game, we did have Idra, Pain User, DJ Wheat, and of course In Control on the lovely Inside the Game. This show coming up pretty well. It's a very similar State of the Game, but kind of a unique thing with users calling in and whatnot. Definitely went over some cool things this week, kind of debunked a few things. Talked a little bit about moving to Korea and some posts that were up in TL about is it good for players to move to Korea or not. Answered tons of viewer questions, so definitely check out Inside the Game this week. And then finally, moving into news for the week. First big announcement, we have FXO going to the GSTL. GOM is going to be providing the GOM house for the FXO Open team, and FXO will be participating in the next GSTL, so you will have a foreign team entering it. So all the foreigners, I'm sure, will be wishing FX Open luck in the next GSTL. Moving on to more news, we have sponsors galore for new teams. First, TT Esports will now be sponsoring White Raw. He's actually even changing his name to TT White Raw. There's some pictures up on TeamLiquid.net about that. Even got a picture for you right there over here on the list of White Raw shaking the hands with the TT Esports. I believe it's one of their presidents. So now TT Esports will be sponsoring White Raw, and Razer will be sponsoring FX Open as they announce their partnership. So Razer and TT Esports getting more into the Starcraft 2 scene of esports, so that should be really cool for both those teams. And then finally, the last news announcement for the day, we do have MLG Pro Circuit announcing the full players list for MLG Columbus that is creeping up on us. I believe it's just about a week away here, coming up in June. Some notable players in that full player list that will be attending their first ever MLG are I Am Lucira, ST Bomber, Slayers MMA, Fox Moon, EG the Muslim, Maus Thorzane, Maus Maro, Fnatic Lefnage, Six Shacks Major, and Six Shacks Skew will all be attending their first ever MLG, and then a host of other players in the open bracket. Over 200 players participating in MLG Columbus, so it should be an absolutely awesome MLG. They got multiple streams, multiple casters. They really went out of their way to try and make up for what was really a lackluster cast at MLG Dallas. And I got news for you guys. That's it for the show. That's all the news. Go check out all the great news and stuff. As always, all the show notes will be in the links below in the description. So go ahead and just check out those links and check out all the news and awesome episodes and games from around the StarCraft 2 community. For now, this is going to be Ken Nursky Decker saying goodbye for now, guys, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.